Hi, good morning students. Today we will have the history class only because in the last year we already talked with the students and um, they said that it is better to take one chapter or 1 week in history and 1 week geography classes. So, this year also it will be preferred for you, I think, the continuity of the class. If you have to get, it's better to take the history class, and after finishing one lesson of the history, we will start with the geography class. I hope it is better for you to have a continuity of the class. Am I right? I hope that's so. Anyway, today, good morning to all. We will start our class that Vedic civilization. We have already started. 2 days classes are over. That means early Vedic period we have already taken, and later Vedic period already taken. This early Vedic period and later Vedic period are all together. It is a Vedic civilization, and the years we are counting. That means when we count the years, in order to calculate the timeline, it's better to understand that when we go through like this a line, and from here starting the BC means before Christ, and AD after the death of Christ. BC is going from here an ascending order. That means 500 BC, 1000 BC, 1500 BC, like that. Then from here it is also going 500, 1000, 1500, and so on, going here and there. So this time is BC. So the Aryans came to India from 1500 to 1000 BC, and coming to here, the ascending order from here after the death of Christ. This year is calculating first century, second century, third century, fifth century, then goes on like that. So, we have already seen the early Vedic period from 1500 to 1000 years. Then later Vedic period starts from here to coming up to 600. That means here. This period is calculated as a later Vedic period. Can you follow me? Okay. Then now if we made a comparison between early Vedic period and later Vedic period, we can understand that early Vedic period started from 1500 to 1000 years BC. Then later Vedic period was from 1000 to 600 BC. Is it clear? Okay. Then the period is different in early Vedic and later Vedic period. Then their occupation. What was the occupation in the early Vedic period? It was the cultivation of cattle, cultivation of crops, and a cattle rearing. Cow was considered as a unit of barter. we have already mentioned when we studied about the early Vedic period. Cow was a precious animal for them. They will not kill them. And it is they have a devotion towards a cow. And it was a barter system was prevailed at that time. Barter. What is barter system? Barter system is when we buy a cow. Here it is a cow, and for one cow, at that time there was no money. So for buying a cow, they have to give 25 kg of 25 kg of potato. Okay, for buying one cow, they have to give 25 kg of potato because cow is more valuable, isn't it? So, in order to get something, they have to give something as a thing. That is the barter system. So, now we come to the occupation where cultivation was their main occupation. Then cattle rearing, that means animal husbandry. They were growing animals, and cow were more precious for them and a devoted animal. Then in the later Vedic period when we come, this agriculture there was little bit improvement. And also at that period, in later Vedic period, we know that iron they found. So they have the iron tools. With the iron tools, they cultivate the things and they will get the improvement in crops. These improvement in agriculture, improvement in crops because they were using the iron tools, and the crafts, weaving, pottery and jewelry, all these things, by coming to the age in advance, they get more improvement in their manufacturing and in their selling. So they got everything improved in the later Vedic period than the early Vedic period. Then comes to the religion. We understood that in the early Vedic period, nature worship was there, isn't it? Indra was the most important god among them. Then Prithvi, Agni, Vayu, Surya, Varun were the other important gods they worshipped at that time. No idol worship was there. Idols means statues and all these things. These all are natural things. So nature worship was there in that time. Then coming to the later Vedic period, the Trinity of God was there. Nature worship, they come to little bit low, and the Trinity of God was there. Prajapati was Brahma. Prajapati or Brahma was their important god. Brahma is the creator. We know that. So Prajapati or Brahma, then Vishnu the preserver, Shiva the destroyer. These were the Trinity of God. Prajapati, Vishnu and Shiva are the Trinity of God. They worshipped the Trinity of God. They, coming to the later period, we understood that the nature worship come to low or come to down, and the Trinity of God was important. Rituals and sacrifices was there. Then come to the point to the caste system. We understood that in the early Vedic period there was the main occupation, but the caste was considered according to the occupation of the people, in which caste they were belonging. We know that 4 castes were there: the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Brahmins were the topmost, and the Shudras were the lower caste. And Brahmins and Kshatriyas, they were little bit not fighting, but they were who is the highest class, and we too are. So among them there were a little bit collaboration in order to dominate as a dominating classes. That Brahmins, we know that the priests and all those people were remain in the Brahmin group. The priests were remaining in the Brahmin group. They were the topmost caste in the early Vedic period. And Kshatriyas, fighters or the warriors, they were the army fighters, and Vaishyas were the farmers or agriculturists at that time. Then Shudras, they were considered as the disobeyed caste. They were not obeying the rules and regulations of the society, and those people were considered as the Shudras. We came to know that according to the color of the skin also, the Shudras were the dark skinned people and the Brahmins were the fair color. Anyway, at that time the caste system were there. Is it correct? Today we want to follow that? I don't think, because all people are equal before the law. In our Indian constitution, there is all people are equal before the law. Nobody is the highest or the lowest. But some people is considered that according to the value of the money I have, I am the top. If I have money, I am something. But we, the history students, we have to understand human beings are all are equal. No, we should not consider the people fair color or skin color is dark, because of that they have to be set apart. No, we should respect to all students equally. Not only students, all the people. In the society, there will not be any distinction between the rich people and poor people, between the white people and dark skinned people. No, we all are Indian people, Indian citizens. We should not have any distinction among us. Okay, come to the point. The status of the women in the, we didn't go to the caste system in the later Vedic period. The caste system in the later Vedic period became more rigid and hereditary. You know that the Brahmins, their hereditary will be the highest post and highest, they will be priests, and they will be more respected people in the society in the later Vedic period up to 600 BC. Then the rigid caste system also were there. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, there were a distinction. But today there should not be any distinction, my dear students. You should keep it in mind. Okay. Then come to the situation of women in the society. We had last year that for the, I think, for what ceremony? For the annual day, we had that function. In that, women were not considered in the previous time, but still in some places are prevailing. That is not good. They have the right to enjoy equal rights as a male child, or girl child and male child equally should be respected, should be considered in the society, in the family. They should not considered as something inferior to male student or male child. Am I right? In that skit, we all came to know that it is not good in the family. The girl child will not grow in a good way, because always keeping away from the family, from the society is not good. She will not be free to come to the society, to mingle with other people. She will be something keep apart. So nowadays it should not be like that. But before that, in the early Vedic period, the girl child also had a good position. That means women enjoyed a good position in the society. They were respected. They could attend the prayers and ceremonies and the classes. There may not be any differences or distinction in male and female child. But coming to 600, that means later Vedic period, what happened? Women's presence in religious ceremonies were there. That also upper class people, upper class women enjoyed more chances, and the lower caste women were something neglected. And upper class women received the education. We know that what is the importance of education. When we got the education, we will be little more civilized people in the society. If we will not have the education, we cannot be in the society as a civilized man or educated man, because they have no education. So the Brahmins enjoyed, the higher caste women enjoyed the education, and women always considered the inferior to men in their period, in the later Vedic period. Am I clear? Hope you understood everything, the comparison between the early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. And there is also one more, because there is no space, so I did it right here. You know that in the literature, only in order to have in mind that this is not a distinction or a comparison. But in early Vedic period, Rig Veda only. In Vedas, it's known as Vedic period, because all Vedas were composed in Vedic period only. But Rig Veda only composed in the early Vedic period. And all other Vedas, which are they? Samveda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, these all, and the Puranas, Mahabharata and Ramayana, all these were composed in this later Vedic period. And these are all the contributions to the culture today, today's people. So we know that some of the culture background these Vedic people had, still it is prevailing. And I am sending a video clip about the contribution of the Vedic civilization to our Indian culture. From that you can understand what all things. And you have to write. It's an assignment. I will send a question in the WhatsApp group. and you have to write the answer everyone, and you have to send to me on my WhatsApp number, on my personal WhatsApp number, not in the group. You have to write that if you want to know, I will say the number 7559850751. This is my WhatsApp number. On my personal WhatsApp number, you have to send this answer. That means what are the contributions this Vedic civilization made for our Indian country. That you have to give the answer. That is not the question in the book. It is my question to you after listening all these videos and after listening the classes, after reading the textbook. You have to understand very clearly what are the contributions made by these Aryan people or these Vedic civilization to our country. I hope everything is clear, and thank you for your collaboration, and thank you for your patience to be attentive in my class. Thank you everyone.